Okay, now let's try to sum up all these MCQs. We have total 55 and we are 23 MCQs left. So in 32, the diagram shows a ray of parallel light, or sorry, light passing through a semicircular glass block into the air. So light is passing from dense to rare. So which row gives the correct name for angle P and states how angle P compares with the critical angle? So
It's
first
angle
row,
of incidence?
yes, that is angle of incidence and angle P compared with the critical angle. So angle P is smaller or greater?
Greater?
Confirm because light is refracting over here. So if
Smaller?
smaller, because if angle P is greater than critical angle, so light will totally internal reflect, right? So name of
Yes.
P is angle of incidence, and since light is only refracting through the glass medium, so it means that it is less than critical angle, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, which ray diagram shows how an image of an object is formed on a screen by converging lens? So again, you just need to find out the correct ray diagram.
A C?
C is the right one because in option C, light rays are moving with the correct orientation of all rays. And in A, this one is not correct. In B, this one is also not correct. And if we talk about D, so this ray is not correct. K34 is also from the general properties of wave. So why does the water wave change direction as it passes into the shallow water?
The speed decreases?
The speed of the wave decreases. Yes, that is C. 35. The diagram represents a converging lens forming an image of an object. Which distance is the focal length of the lens? That is also very simple. When light ray, which is parallel to the principal axis, pass through the convex lens, so it will always bend through the principal focus, right?
So A?
Uh, if you take the reference of ray 1, so this ray is passing parallel to the convex lens and then it will bend through the point that is known as the principal focus or the focal length, right? So it
Yes.
means they are talking about the focal length. So focal length is the distance between the optical center and the principal focus. So QR is the focal length, right?
Yes.
So always remember you just need to find out the focal length with the help of parallel line. So a parallel line is passing or refracting from the convex lens. So it will always bend through the principal focus, right? So that point is principal focus. And if you want to measure the focal length, so the distance between optical center and the principal focus is known as the focal length, right? Any confusion?
No, sir, it's clear.
Okay. Okay, 36. A teacher demonstrates that dispersion of white light using a triangular prism Which diagram shows how this dispersion happens?
B.
B, yes. Because light will always pass through the opposite side, and this central part is very much important. In option A, this is wrong. Okay, 37. What are the other characteristics of the image? So one characteristic is mentioned in the question, that is image is upright. So what are the other characteristics?
A C.
Laterally inverted, magnified, no, virtual, yes. So option C is the right one. 38 is repeated, and 39 is also repeated. That is infrared, right?
Yes.
O- Again, plane mirror 40. A plane mirror is used to form an image of an object. At which label point is the image formed?
B.
At B.
A.
Actually, remember that condition, that we have to measure the angle of incidence with respect to the eye and also with respect to the image on the other side. So this will be the angle of reflection over here, that is at point D, right? Because at point A, we have to observe the object from point A. So A is the A will be not the right position for that. D is the right one because object is here. So image will form at position D in front of object. And if we measure the angle of incidence with angle of reflection, so that will also be equal from this side to the this side, right?
Okay.
And our eye must placed at point A. So from point A, we will also get the equal angle of reflection if we draw normal line over here, right?
Yes.
41.
C.
At which label point could the piece of film be placed so that the lens produces this image? Okay, C is the right one. 42 is again related to prism, but now they are talking about the frequency and speed.
B.
The frequency of violet light decreases more than that of red light. If you remember that electromagnetic spectrum scale, so the frequency of violet is greater than the red. If we are moving on the right hand side, just like the infrared, the microwaves and the radio signals, so wavelength will increase. And if we are moving on left hand side from the purple or the violet side, we are getting ultraviolet, X-rays and gamma rays. So violet color is on the left on the visible region. If we talk about the visible region, so violet color is on the left and red color is on the right. So when we are moving on left hand side, So we are working with increasing frequency, and if we are moving with on right hand side, so it means wavelength will increase. So option B is not possible, that frequency of violet light decreases more than of red light. So frequency of violet light is always greater than the red light. So option A, the frequency of red light decreases more than that of violet light, and the frequency of violet light decreases more than that of red light. The speed of red light decreases more than that of violet, and speed of violet light decreases more than that of red light. So there are two possibilities over here. And when we are going to work with the prism, so in prism, you remember that we work with the concept of refractive index, because this depth and this depth is different from the previous. And when we are working with the different depth of the medium, so we use the concept of refractive index. And when we work with refractive index, so we use formula sine angle of incidence and sine angle of reflection. And the other formula is to compare with the speed of light, right? That is speed of light in medium compares with the speed of light in the glass. So these are two possibilities to find out the refraction angle of the light ray. So violet light, the speed of violet light decrease more than that of red light. So D is the right one, because red light is passing through small distance. This is the small distance. So red light is passing through this specific part. So the speed of light is greater for the red light, and violet is moving in the deep region, from the deep region as compared to the red one. So the speed of light for violet is, the speed will decrease as compared to the red light, right?
Okay.
Any confusion or question?
No, sir.
Because they are asking about prism. So in prism, we have two possibilities, one to compare the angle and the other one to compare with their speed of light in medium, right? So in prism, we have different depth. So that's why red is moving first. It means the speed of light will be greater for red, and violet is moving at the last. So it means the speed of light will be decreased for the violet light. Okay, 43. Which statement is always correct? We are working with convex lens. So which statement will always correct?
B?
Image is bigger than the object. Oh,
No, it's the D.
D. Because when we are working with convex lens, so image will always be inverted. Okay, now this is the question which we skip in part because of the wrong formation of diagram. So the diagram shows a ray of light traveling from X. Angle P is less than the critical angle. In which direction does the ray continue?
C?
C. The diagram shows a ray of light traveling from X. Okay, P is less than critical angle. Okay, so we have two possibilities. Either it is C or it will be B, right? Because A is not possible, angle of incidence is less than critical angle. So we have to choose between B and C. And if you remember the condition when light moves from dense to rare medium, so what will be the direction of light ray after passing from dense to rare?
Oh, it will be B.
Yes. So always remember the basics. All questions are related to your basics. So that will be easy to find out the correct answer. 45.
9.
Uh, Actually, this is the plane mirror or the mirror image. So we have to find out it will be over here. That is equals to 9. That will be right.
C.
C, 25. And this will be over here. Okay, 46. Okay, in question number 46, light is moving from air to glass. Which formula is used to calculate the refractive index of the glass? That is also easy.
D.
Yes. W is the angle of incidence. X is the angle of refraction. 47. Which statement about the image is correct? Object is placed over here and image is going to be formed over here.
Is it
So
C?
it is virtual. Okay. Can be seen by an eye X. Okay, so when image is virtual, so it means we have to select this position, because if we observe this object through the lens, so then this object will be magnified, right? So
Right.
position X is not the right because we are observing from the same side. So it means we observe the same height and the same size of the object, right? And if we consider the other side, so when we are observing just like the same simple magnifying glass, if we use simple magnifying glass to read the small letters, so letters are on the other side and we are observing from the other side. So it means image is virtual and can be seen by an eye Y. That is option D. Okay, question number 48. In this diagram, the diagram shows light passing from air into glass. Now again, we are moving from there to dense. The refractive index of glass is 1.5. What is the angle of refraction? So now you have to use the formula to calculate the angle of refraction. So what is the formula to calculate angle of refraction? N is equals
Mm,
to, because they are talking about the refractive index, so we use the same formula for refractive index. N is equals to sine incidence over sine refraction. And we already have the value of refractive index, that is 1.5. So angle of incidence will be equal to what? 30 or 60?
60.
Yes, 60. And we have to find the angle of refraction. Just reverse the value. So sine 60, you need to calculate with the help of calculator, divided by 1.5. And finally, you have to take the sine inverse of the answer, which is going to be calculated from this part, right?
It's giving me 39.
39. But 39 is not over here. First, find out sine 60. So what is the value of sine 60?
0.57. Oh,
0.5.
it's C. It's C.
Confirm.
Yes.
but this is the angle of refraction. Okay. So that is calculation base. You also find out the value of sine inverse.
Yes.
Okay. So sine 60 is,
It was 34.75.
okay. So we are getting 0.577, right?
Yes.
And if we calculate 0.577, yes, 35. Okay. So we are getting option C. 49. A sound wave has a certain amplitude, a certain frequency. A second sound wave is quieter and louder. Okay, this is related to sound chapter. So
D?
a larger amplitude and a smaller frequency.
No, D.
Yes, so D is the right one. Okay, 50. The diagram shows an object in front of a plane mirror. The plane mirror forms an image of object. At which labeled point is the image formed and which type of image is formed?
D?
Yes, D. Again, this is related to refractive index. Angle of incidence, angle of refraction is mentioned. We just need to calculate with the help of formula. N is equals to sine I. N is equals to,
It's C.
okay, 52 is again repeated. We solve this part, which is equals to D. 53. Diagram shows a converging lens is used as a magnifying glass. So in which part we are using convex lens as a magnifying glass? We have to place object very close because if we are using magnifying glass, so we place magnifying glass close to that small object. So that object will be magnified. So which option will be the right one?
B?
B is the right option because all light rays are correctly marked over there and image is also magnified. 54. The diagram shows a ray of monochromatic light. It means single wavelength passing through a semicircular glass block. What is the refractive index? So again, you need to find out the refractive index. So what will be the angle of incidence? What will be the angle of refraction? You need to find out the angle of incidence and refraction.
Incidence is 40.
Okay, incidence is 40.
Refractive is 50.
Refracted is 50
No.
because light is partially reflecting and partially refracting. So it means light is refracting at 90 degree. So this is your angle of refraction.
It's A.
But uh, it is passing from air to glass. There is some mistake in the diagram because light is passing from air to glass and it is reflecting and refracting. So in total internal reflection, light will always pass from dense to rare medium. So maybe take in the diagram or in the question because the orientation is not correct. Okay, so last MCQ of this worksheet of light,
D?
virtual and enlarge. Right. So these are the MCQs of this section, right?
Yes.
And now you try to solve the detailed questions also. So this chapter will be completed. So we will work out with the next one.